right, this is the part that we cut out after you guys watch. All right, we're live. Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey.
Coach Tom.
And this is Shot Science Overtime number 167. Thanks you guys for showing up. We want to start off by letting you guys know this is our live show. This is not a regular tutorial short video. If that's what you want, go check it out. And we will have another one of those coming up soon, but we have a whole library full of that stuff. But we have another one coming out in about a day or so, so just chill out. This is for talking to you guys about talking to you guys one-on-one. We want to answer your questions. We want to help you become a better basketball player. If that's not for you, you can get out right now. It's totally okay. Go watch one of our other videos. But we want to spend this hour or so talking to you guys about becoming better basketball players.
Right.
And we have a topic that we're going to talk about. And while we're talking about that, you guys are going to send us your questions or comments. And then after we're done with our topic, we'll get into your guys' topics.
All right.
So make sure you're sending us those questions. Anything basketball related. It can be on shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, talking to your coach, developing your athleticism, whatever it may be, send them our way, and we will get to as many as we can.
Right.
If you send them in early, that's better. Also, make sure you go and tell your friends and family to check us out because that helps us grow Team Shot Science, which is awesome. If you want to join Team Shot Science, you're already doing your job by being here early and watching the show. Also, you can go get some Shot Science shirts at shotscience.com, and you can join the all-access membership portion of that site where we have a ton of instructional information, demonstrations, tutorials that you can check out that go beyond the stuff that we do on YouTube. Right. And going there, spending a little bit of your money helps support us and helps us do more cool things for you guys. So that would be awesome if you could go there. We also have some training gear stuff there that will help you develop your vertical jump. Right. The jump box is kind of our new cool thing that we have there. And it has a whole bunch of tools in one box. You can also get a shirt inside that as well. So check that stuff out. And we want to know what you guys think too. So go check out shotscience.com. And come back, and we will discuss whatever you want to talk about.
Well, if they buy one of those shirts and then they take some pictures, do a little video, we can kind of deal with that too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys, what we want to do is we want to feature as many of you guys as possible on all of our social sites. So if you want to take a picture of you in our shirt or take a video of you training in our shirt, we are trying to feature people on our Facebook page, which has like 1.6 million people that follow it, on our Instagram, which has a ton of people that follow it, wherever. And we're going to start doing that more often. So if you get a shirt, that really ups your chances of getting featured as a part of Team Shot Science. Okay.
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to get into our topic right now, which is shoot faster, because we hear that constantly.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Everybody wants to have a faster shot. Everybody wants to get the shot off before the defender can catch up with them. Right. But we have some opinions on that, and we talk about it occasionally, but we thought we would dedicate this entire thing to it. By the way, hi to all the people that are saying hi in the chat. There is a ton of you guys, and we appreciate it.
That's great.
Yeah. So why don't we start talking about how to shoot faster?
Yeah,
or some misconceptions too.
One of the things that I often hear are coaches telling their guys that you're taking too long to get your shot off. I watch them, and I don't think they're taking that much time to get their shot off at all. What they're doing is maybe they've got some little element like they dip the basketball, and we'll talk about that. But the thing that's really important about shooting faster is that you're probably going to be rushing, and your accuracy is going to fall off quite a bit. So what is really important when you're shooting is to be fairly quick, but also to be have your shot stroke mechanics all be very clean, smooth, so that they happen very efficiently. I'm sorry, Casey.
Yeah, a lot of people, they are either told or they think that to shoot faster, you have to speed up the delivery of the basketball. That's not true. You want your delivery to be efficient, but you don't want to try to force that.
Right.
What you want to do is speed up your setup for the shot. Yep. And too many people try to, they catch the ball and then they try to get it out of their shot, their set point as fast as they can. What that does is that creates tons of tension.
Yeah.
And when you put that tension into your body, you transfer it into the ball, which will make your shot less accurate. And when it hits the rim, it's going to expend all that energy.
Right.
And when it does that, that energy is going to kick the ball out, and you don't want the ball to have any kind of live action on it when it hits the rim.
Yeah.
You want it to just kind of die there, and that's why that gentle backspin is important too.
Right.
So our biggest thing is when it comes to shooting is efficiency, number one. So if you have an efficient shot, you're going to have a pretty quick delivery of the ball.
Sure.
And if you want to speed up your shot even more, then you want to leave that part alone, and you want to really focus on the setup. And when we're talking about the setup, we're talking about footwork.
Exactly right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly right.
So when we're talking about footwork, what are we talking about?
Well, how we use our feet as we get ready to shoot the basketball, and we really
And is this before or after you have the ball in your hands?
you got your ball. Well, there's both. The one thing that we teach everybody is what we call catch and address. And in the catch and address, we are actually moving our feet and getting ready to shoot before we catch the basketball. And so that makes us more efficient in getting the shot off.
So all this stuff starts before you catch the ball off
Yeah.
the pass,
Yeah.
and it starts before you pick the ball up off the dribble
Yes, it does. And
on that last dribble.
exactly, and footwork is so key to it, and being able to efficiently get the ball up and get it on its way. One of the things that is important too is that often people think that if they shoot the ball faster because they're being closed down on by defenders, that's going to work for them. Hey, it does not work that way. If you have defensive players who are closing out quickly to deny that shot, that arm is up in the air, then you have to take and create a situation where you can make some space for that shot. We call that creating space. And so maybe that one of the things that we teach most all of our shooters is a shot fake and a sidestep. And on that sidestep, we'll drop a dribble. And that dribble is to keep us from traveling, but it's also a rhythm step for us as well. Because we really believe that you create rhythm with your feet as opposed to doing other things that you might do.
Yeah, so like when it comes to footwork on shooting, you should never be catching the ball at a standstill and shooting the ball.
Exactly.
You should always, if you're catching the pass, you should be stepping into the pass. 1-2, step into the pass. Right. That helps with shortening the pass. It also helps create space away from the defender. If you're just standing there, that defender he's stoked because he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to wait for you to catch the ball or jump the passing lane and steal the ball. So if you can cut that distance down, that helps. But at the same time you're doing that, you're creating space away from the defender, and you're also setting up your rhythm for your shot.
Right.
So those are three benefits of closing that space and using footwork to catch the ball.
Right.
Catching the ball at a standstill, that puts you at a disadvantage for several reasons.
Yeah, it really does.
Some of them are that you have no rhythm generated, so you have to do something like dipping the basketball, which is not something that we
don't support that.
We don't support that because of several reasons there too.
Yeah.
Because number one, you're adding a complexity to your shot. And that really is a variable that can go wrong. I mean, you want your shot efficient. That helps repeatability, which helps accuracy. Right. So if you're doing some extra motion that you don't need, then that's going to be a problem. The only reason that you would dip the ball is basically to generate rhythm. You can do that with your feet. It also exposes the ball to the defense because you're basically just bringing it right through that box on your body, and that's not great. They can just stick their hand in and poke it out, and it's slower. You're doing an extra motion. It takes time.
Yes.
So step into the pass, and that will help you on that catch and shoot quickness. And that's when you see those guys that are super fast at catch and shoot. They're not catching the ball at a standstill. They're catching it by shortening the pass.
Right.
And then off of the dribble, similar situation where you are using that last 1-2 step, and it's a combination of that 1-2 step and a real rocket of a dribble, that last dribble, that dribble helps give you rhythm. It pops back into your hand really quick, and then the rhythm of your feet setting 1-2, you're going from that low position to that high position, and that footwork will help you translate all of that horizontal momentum into vertical momentum, which is the key.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why hopping into your shot is one. There's so many reasons why we aren't into that either, but that is a big one, is translating that forward horizontal momentum into vertical momentum. Because if you have momentum that's making you drift in that horizontal plane still as you're trying to go vertical as well, that's going to hurt your accuracy because you're basically moving as you're trying to shoot at a stationary target.
And you really want to go up and be very stable when you're shooting the basketball.
Yep.
That's where you're going to be most accurate.
And if you talk to all of these top level shooting coaches and professionals, for us, that's what we think. But, Drew Hanlon, I'm sure if you go talk to Drew, right, who works with all these top NBA players, if you talk to him about shooting, his big thing is balance and stability.
Right.
And if you are moving through those horizontal planes while you're going up into your shot, that's not stable, that's not balanced, and that will affect your shot.
Right.
So when we're talking about, getting back to the main topic of today, how to get your shot faster, footwork is key.
It is.
And the reason for that is because you're taking care of an essential series of elements to your shot before the shot really even begins with the basketball.
Well, actually, before you catch it. If you use our catch and address footwork, actually, I've already started into my shot. I've got my feet moving already. I catch the ball. I take one more step, and I'm ready to go. And so we feel like that's really efficient. Anytime you try to speed up an element like that because maybe you want to get the shot off, you shouldn't be shooting that particular shot.
Yep.
And the reason for that is that they're in your space, and you're probably going to get a deflection, or you're going to get a shot that's just a hope shot for you, because you can't get a good stroke on it.
Yeah, that's the whole different next layer of this stuff is what is a good shot.
Exactly right.
And if you're trying to get your shot off faster to beat the defender who's already contesting you, you've taken a bad shot.
Yeah, it's not one that you should have taken. And I see this an awful lot where young players. Number one, they're a little hungry and they want to shoot the basketball, and so they rush shots just because they want to get them off, and they've got people in their face. And usually what happens is they get blocked, and maybe sometimes they get blocked and get fouled. That happens, certainly. But the thing is that it's not an effective way to go about shooting and shooting faster. You don't have to be faster. You just have to make sure that you have created some space for your shot that you can use efficiently.
Yeah. So really the take home on this stuff is that you should not be trying to rush your delivery system, which is your upper body and kind of the your arms and the release of your shot. That stuff should not be sped up so that you are trying to deliver it quicker in that sense. Yeah. All of it should be, number one, efficiency of your shooting mechanics.
Right.
And we talk about that in all of our shooting videos. And also working on generating rhythm and using your feet to kind of be where you create this quickness and also eliminate some of the steps that you would do after you catch the ball.
Right.
So really work on efficiency and footwork for your shooting. That is how you get the quicker shot. And if you're trying to speed it up any other way, you're going to find yourself, having your accuracy really tail off. Yeah. And if you're trying to get your shot off because you're being contested, you're probably not creating space. That is another skill that you need to develop.
Yeah.
And you can do that through any kind of offensive move or skill. And then also it might just not be a good shot. So you can do something else like shot fake and go by him and take another shot or pass the ball. I mean, there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
But shooting faster, there are key elements that you should be looking at that are not trying to chuck it faster.
Exactly.
Right? So do we have anything else on that, or is that
No,
good?
I think that's good. I think understanding the fact that doesn't necessarily going to make a shot just because you get it off faster. What really makes this, the thing really important, it is a very efficient shot and release and stroke, and make sure you got room for it. Otherwise, there's not a shot there.
Yeah, and we have a ton of videos on YouTube that explain kind of our shooting methodology, and you can see those demonstrated. If you want an all-in-one look at that stuff and really concise demonstrations and tutorials and drills on all this, you can go to our website, shotscience.com, and that's in the all-access membership area. And we break all of this stuff down, and we show you guys exactly what it should look like, why you do it, how you do it, and then give you drills and stuff to work on. So
and what not to do.
Yeah, and so go check that out. All right, So after you go to shotscience.com, we're going to talk to you guys about some of your questions that you have here.
right.
So let's shut down our topic for today. We're going to get into this. But before we get into answering your questions, we have a question for you guys. And if you're here every week, you know what it is. But we want to know this.
Where are you from in the world? Where are you from?
Yeah, we are in Santa Cruz, California.
And some of you are already posting that on it, which is really cool.
Yeah, we are in Santa Cruz, California. But we want to know where you guys are from. Are you from Germany? Are you from Japan? Are you from South Africa, Australia? We want to know. So tell us where you guys are from, and we're going to shout out some people when we get those coming in. And we're going to jump into some questions here first. Oh, well, hold on. We got Noah, who's from Kiel, Germany. We have Connor, who's from Ohio. Infamous King is from North Carolina. Jeremy Lynn's hair is from Virginia Beach. Kirsten is from Iowa. Anthony Perez is from Ecuador. James Wood is from London, England. And, Infamous King is Todd from North Carolina. Vigash is asking how to get playing time.
You know, that is probably one of the most complex problems that coaches and players have to deal with. And it kind of depends upon how coaches look at their team and team members. That's part of it. They look at their team members and they say, okay, what can this person bring to the game when they come on the floor? Maybe they're good rebounders. Maybe they're good defenders. Maybe they shoot the ball really well. But there's always a couple of players, maybe 2, 3, 4 on a team, who have difficulty finding playing time because they are maybe deficient in all of those areas. Maybe they're not very strong. Maybe they're not very big. And so that's a real stressful situation to figure out. So one of the things that I would recommend right off is this, is that you take some time to talk to the coach and just say, what things could I do to improve my game so that I have a chance to get on the floor and play a little bit more than I'm playing right now. And coaches are, most of the time, they're really sensible people. And they might say, hey, here's what you need to do. 1, 2, 3. And maybe that will get you a little bit more playing time. And then I would work my tail off on those things and see if it's going to get you a little more playing time. One of the things that happens, too, is that sometimes players who don't get on the floor very often are pretty nervous. They come on the floor, and it's easy for them to make mistakes, and so they get jerked right away, and they got to go back and sit down. So how you kind of temper yourself when you go in the game is really important, and that you go in and you don't have adrenaline squirting out both ears so that you are just so frantic that you make mistakes. Okay, and so talk to the coach, find out what they think. They selected you to play on that team, so they probably have some thoughts about the positive things that you bring, or you wouldn't be on the team.
And the other thing, too, is that if you go watch our video, How to Make the Team, that could also be called How to Get More Playing Time.
Exactly right.
And those are things that are outside of your skills that you can do that kind of endear yourself to the coach. And that's, showing initiative, showing leadership, showing hustle. I mean, there's a whole list of things there that you can do that are outside of your skill that really catch the eye of the coach.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so I would suggest doing that stuff right out of the gate. The other thing is that you should up your value as a player by being good at everything. One of the worst things you can do as a player, especially if you're trying to get more playing time or play more of a role on a team, is to specialize or just do one thing. Yeah. If you can only play defense, and you're on a team where there's guys that can play offense and defense, well, you just work yourself off of that team, really, or down the rung of that team. If you can only shoot, you can't do anything else, you're a liability there. So you're probably going to see less playing time. But if you can do everything well, you will find a place on that team and probably most of the teams that you try to play for. Yeah,
and one of the things that Casey alluded here a moment ago, let me go back and pull it up, and that is coaches look for guys who play with effort. They love guys who just are so aggressive and play really, really, really hard. If there's a ball on the floor, they are on it, and they're on the floor trying to secure control of the basketball. Coaches just love those kind of guys, and so they secure a turnover possibly for you that keeps your offense rolling. And so effort is huge.
We got Levi from London. We have Daily Basketball from Orange County, California. We have Jan from France. We have D-Boy from Canada. We have Dara Mannion from Ireland. Who else do we got? Oh, there's a lot of questions coming in. Awesome, you guys. We really appreciate seeing you guys from all these different places from all over the world.
That's great.
It is super cool. And if you are from these different places and you go and you tell your friends and family to check us out, we appreciate that even more.
Yeah, truly.
And it would be so cool if, Dara from Ireland was walking around in a Shot Science shirt. So if you take a picture of you in Ireland balling with our shirt on, we are posting that 100%.
Right.
So go check out shotscience.com if you guys want to get a shirt, because that really does help us in putting together more stuff for you guys. It's a great way to support the videos that we put together. Let's see. Nitish Singh says, how do you pull up against a taller defender? Well, I think, like we said earlier when we're talking about shooting, if that person is contesting your shot, it's probably not a good shot.
Exactly.
So you need to learn a few skills about creating space, but also how to, kind of bait that guy to do things that he doesn't want to do that really put you in a position to take advantage of him, whether that's a shot fake and go by, or pulling up before they get to you, or creating space by doing what we were talking about earlier in stepping into the pass. There's so many things to do, but if you're just trying to bomb over the tall guy, that's probably not the best approach.
Well, and one of the things that we teach our players is that if you deal with somebody who is bigger than you like that, well, look to go by them. Because if they're bigger than you, chances are maybe you're quicker than they are. And so you want to use that particular skill to attack the bigger players and create that space that you want for the shot. Don't try to force the ball over a bigger player when obviously they're just going to take and tap it away or block it. Okay?
Or just them being there makes your shooting percentage drop off just because they're there.
Absolutely.
So don't do that. It's not a good shot. Den V Star, our buddy from Moscow, is here again. Awesome.
All right.
Glad that you're here every week. What time is it in Moscow?
Yeah, it must be the middle of the night in Moscow.
Let's see. John Feliciano says, how can I get better in my jump shot? Practice.
Yeah, that's really the truth. It just all comes down to practice and
purposeful practice.
Yeah, spent some time this morning with a young guy who was working on his jump shot, and he was releasing the ball late, and so the shot was flat, short, and he was really struggling with it. And so finally we were able to work out the fact that he needed to get the shot off as he's reaching the top of his jump, and that became much more effective for him, and he started to drop them pretty good. So oftentimes it has to do with how you shoot that jump shot, and that has to do with just the skill of doing it and understanding the things that can go bad for you. If you go up and jump and you stand there and hold it, the ball is always going to be flat and short, both of which are going to ensure that you probably aren't going to make the basket.
Yeah, and a lot of it too comes down from having the right shooting elements put together.
Yeah.
If you buy into a methodology, that's good. But you should always be looking at it critically. Is this really right for me? Right. Did these people explain it in a way that makes reasonable, logical sense to me? Right. That is really important. And hopefully we're able to show you that in what we're talking about, because one of the things that we really focus on is making sure that we convey the why, the how, and the how to develop that stuff as well. Right. So you got to do that first. And then it comes down to the 3 pillars of practice, where you are putting those shooting elements into practice. And, that first pillar is going to be really dialing everything in, making sure it all is in working order in terms of your mechanics. And you're going to use something like the form shooting drill to really get that going. And then you move into the second pillar, which is game speed, game intensity. So you're taking all of that effort that you put into getting the mechanics really dialed in, and you're amping it up to game speed, game intensity, and kind of getting that feel of what a game is, adding in a defender maybe, and getting that kind of all situated so that when you get to game speed, you are able to execute. And then you got to do the third pillar, which is experience and getting out there and playing in actual games, pickup games, school games, traveling team games, whatever. And then you'll start to see, oh, my jump shot's really starting to come together because I put all this effort into really developing it.
Right.
Other than that, there isn't any quick pill you can take or magic you can do. That is really what you have to do, is all the work that goes into it.
Right.
Okay. Curry Bomb says, how do you improve your fadeaway? Well, we would first say try to eliminate it from your repertoire of shots.
Yeah, it's a very difficult shot.
Here's the thing. We were just talking about that when we were talking about shooting, is that horizontal momentum. And you're creating that with a fadeaway, and you're falling away. And the other thing is that you're probably shooting it because it's a contested shot.
Exactly, against a bigger guy.
So you have two elements against you that are going to make your shooting accuracy drop off. And we understand that it looks cool, and B, that there are people that kind of specialize in that kind of thing. But are you a player that is going to have a high shooting percentage with a fadeaway? Probably not.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that guys like Kobe and Michael Jordan really mastered later in their career. It wasn't even something that they really had going on in the beginning.
Well, and they spend a mountain of time on it.
Yeah,
and they have the time to do that. And so,
and when we're talking about trying to become a better basketball player, that is probably not the shot you should be spending time at.
Yeah,
If you're going to be
exactly.
spending time on something, make it your shot, make it creating space for your shot, your ball handling. I mean, all of these things that are really important to making you a better player right out of the gate.
Yeah.
If you're working on fadeaway, I can guarantee you it's going to take you hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years to get that to the point where it even compares to taking a shot that is a good, open, consistent shot.
well, that and the fact that how many times in a game do you get the opportunity to shoot a shot like that? Probably not more than 2 or 3, maybe.
And we're saying that you shouldn't try
Yeah,
to create that
right,
scenario anyway.
Right, but you're just not going to have a chance to use it very much, and spend that time, like Casey says, working on the effectiveness of your other shooting elements. That's really important.
Yeah, and people don't like to hear that, but we do not like to encourage people to take shots that are low percentage shots.
Yep. Neither do your coaches.
Yeah, and when coaches see kids shooting fadeaways, they have a switch in their brain that flicks off and says, how do I get that kid out of there? Because, it's not a consistent high percentage shot at all.
Now, hang on. Now, usually, those shots are used against bigger players, and they're usually used around the basket, within, let's say, 7 or 8 feet of the basket. And one of the things that's important is there are a lot of other ways to finish against those big guys where you don't have to shoot that fadeaway that are way more effective. And if you go to our videos on YouTube, you'll find that we have one there that is called Finishes at the Rim. And those are way more effective in attacking the bigs than it is trying to shoot that little fade over the top.
Yeah, and one of the things too is that we live in a basketball culture where there is a fuzzy line for a lot of younger players between actual points and style points. And you have to, if you're an actual competitive basketball player, you should be trying to get the points that go up on the scoreboard. If you're trying to get the points that go into the ego book, then you're going to find that as you try to move up the ranks in competitive basketball, you will not be nearly as successful, because a coach will take a player that can get 30 points off of easy little shots than a player that can make 2 or 3 awesome fadeaways and walk away with 6 points.
Yeah.
That's just there's such a defined line there between who is able to execute and kind of turn things over for the team, and somebody who is really about making it look cool so that their girlfriend in the stands is like, wow, that was amazing. So go for actual points, not style points. And that's tough to hear, because everybody wants to dunk, everybody wants to shoot fadeaways, everybody wants to do killer crossovers and break everybody's ankles. But do those put points on the board consistently? I don't know. This one is from Bossy Boy JD. How do we stop scariness? Experience is number one.
Well,
Really,
yeah, that is the huge thing, is that oftentimes when we get that scared feeling, it's because we don't have confidence in ourselves, and we wonder, can we really do this? Can we do that? And that scariness is hard for you to wipe away until you experience a period of time where you kind of learn, okay, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that over there too. And as soon as you develop that confidence in what you can do, a lot of that scariness tends to go away. Sometimes it's more prominent with new young players because they have fear of failure, and so that kind of grips us for a little while. One of the things that you find when you play this game is that usually, even if you're a little uptight or a little scared in the beginning of the game, usually that passes within the first 2 minutes of the game because your heart rate is pumping, your body is amped, and now you're into the flow of the game, and you kind of forget that the fact that you're a little antsy or scary.
Well, I think part of it that you need to realize is that if you don't have confidence in your skills, you're not going to have confidence in the execution of those skills. So you have to work really hard, and we always propose the 3 pillars of practice to make sure that your skills are where they need to be before you get out on the floor. If you just walk out there and you've not really prepared yourself, that's like having to do a presentation on your book report on the book you didn't read. So that's hard. You got to really kind of improvise, which is not what you want to do when it comes to something that is skill based. So work on your skills. 3 pillars of practice. Harrison Starr says, when I shoot a three, my shot is left or right, but when I shoot a mid-range, I'm fine.
The biggest problem with
that sounds
shooting,
like your mechanics are breaking down.
well, one of the biggest problems that we have with shooting and the ball tending to go right or left has to do with our assist hand, the opposite hand, not the shooting hand. And what happens is that the thumb from that hand often will swipe against the basketball on the release, and it causes the ball to go that way, and sometimes it will go that way. We usually start all of our players out shooting just one-handed and proving to them that that's going to give you a straight line to the basket, particularly if it comes off of fingers 1 and 2. And as soon as we start adding in that thumb, what happens is the ball begins to move aside. And you don't need this hand really at the point of release. If you watch really good shooters, that hand is off the ball when you're ready to release. That way there isn't any thumb that is influencing where the ball is going to go. So that's the biggest problem that you have.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that if you are going to these longer range shots and you're finding that you're going right or left too, it might be a situation where you're trying to heave the ball. And when you're trying to elevate your hand, you want to elevate and finish right to the basket.
Right.
If you're trying to wrench it with your shoulder and you're coming across your body, the ball's going to follow the trajectory of where your hand finishes. So if you're trying to do that, it's not going to be as accurate. And one of the ways that you help develop your range into deeper territory is that you use something like the form shooting drill and progress your way back. So you start in close, you work on the shot really, really close, you master that range, take a step back, master that range all around the basket, take a step back, master that range. And what you find is that it takes a little bit of time to get back there. But by the time you get back to that deeper range, you have developed the strength and shooting mechanics that don't change as you move back. You have everything so that it works efficiently. And so your shot is going to look the same as a three-pointer as it does from 6 feet.
Right.
And that's really what you want to work towards.
Right.
Is using the form shooting drill and something like that.
Well, and one of the things that we do sometimes too is when we move away from the basket, we think we need more power on the ball. And so we get that other hand to help with the power. And that just destroys the shot for the most part. What we want to keep in mind is the fact that if we want to take and have the power, we use more legs to get that power in there. And if you go look at our video on Get Your Legs Into It, it explains there how important the legs are to your shot. A lot of people we have to break down when they first start taking lessons because they do not use their legs. They use their arms. And if you move them back, then they're trying to get 2 hands to get it up there stronger. So what happens is that we usually start them in the mid-range, 7, 8, 9 feet, something like that. And then it's just one-handed, and we get legs into it. And we get more legs into it until we get that power working for us.
All right, I'm going to answer a couple of these really quick, and then we're going to go into some more fresh questions. But Eduardo is asking drills to improve vertical. And then we have Corbin Reed, who is asking, is squatting the best exercise to improve your jumping? And I'm sure that there's other vertical jump questions that have come up too. Here's the thing, is that we talk about vertical jump in all of our vertical jump videos, and we have drills in there to help you improve, and we also give you the reasoning behind our approach. And we think that that is really where you should start. And you can go check those vertical jump videos out on our YouTube channel. There's 2 main ones that are there. But we also, on our new ShotScience.com all access area, we have a new breakdown of all that stuff with new drills, new stuff in there that you can go check out. And we talk about what is important in developing your vertical jump. We tell you how to do it, and we give you the drills and things to start doing that stuff. And then also you can check out the vertical jump gear that we have in the store there. That is stuff that that is simple tools that you can use to help you develop your vertical. You don't need it necessarily, but these are things that will really help you. You know, we have the foam roller, we have the resistance cords, we have the resistance bands, and you know, we have the jump rope and things like that. And if you want to get all that stuff, it's in the jump box. But those are the things that we think are really important to developing that stuff. And then we also have somebody here, Levi, who's asking, how do I not get my weak ankles broken while defending? Well, part of that is working on developing that strength in those areas.
Right.
And, you know, the vertical jump program stuff that we put together, that is not just for vertical jump. It is for all around athleticism. It is also to help develop some baseline of strength as well. Some lateral movement will be kind of rolled into that too. So something like that is good for you too. And you can use the bands and everything, you know, the resistance bands that are part of that jump box. You can put those around your feet and work on lateral movements, and you will start to find that is going to really help develop your stability in those areas.
Right.
And we have drills on that stuff as well. And also, when it comes to defending people, you need to learn to stay in front of them. You need to learn some of the stuff that we talk about in Defense 101 as well. So I just wanted to hit all of that stuff really quick. And before we move on, what? Well, there's 2 here that I want to hit. But, John, so anyways, the upshot of that is go check out our vertical jump videos. And if you want to get further into that stuff, go to ShotScience.com. And we have gear and videos and breakdowns and drills and all that stuff. Okay. This one is from John Feliciano, who says, how can I get a better handle on my weak hand?
Well, you know,
You got to use it.
exactly. You have to take it, exercise it, just like you do the other one. You probably, when you started playing basketball, you played with your right hand, but it probably wasn't very good in the beginning either. And then through more use and working on drills and all that, it gets stronger and stronger. And you avoid the other hand because that guy screws up all the time. And so the more that screws up, the less we spend time on it. I will tell you this, that probably if you were to take and start working about 20 minutes per day and just working just on your weak hand, you'd be surprised in a week how much it changes and how much stronger it gets in controlling the basketball. It's just not used enough. That's why it doesn't effectively work for you.
Yeah, and go check out our video on how to develop your weak hand, and we show you how to do it, and we also give you drills on how to do that stuff. But it really comes down to just doing it.
Right.
People think that your offhand or your weak hand is some magical beast and has to be trained some different way. It doesn't. It is.
It's trained the same way as the other hand.
Yeah.
And just so you know, if you're a dominant right-hander, left-handers have the same problem for the same reasons. Their right hands oftentimes aren't very good because they don't use them because that's not the dominant hand.
Okay, Dara is asking how to get a 2-motion jump shot as quick as a 1-motion.
Why in the world would anybody want to take and shoot a 2-motion jump shot?
We hear about that all the time because there's
Yeah.
other shooting people that talk about that.
Yeah, one of the things that we always teach our students is that jump shot needs to be a 1-part shot that begins at the bottom of your feet and ends with the end of your shooting fingers. If you have a hesitation in there, and that's what 2-part shot is I start my leg motion and thrust, and then there's a slight pause, and then we go with the arms. What happens is there's a division of power in your stroke. And here's how our stroke mechanics or our stroke strength really is broken down. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, maybe even 25% of our shooting power comes from our shoulder girdle, our arms and shoulders and chests, okay? Then the other 80% of it comes from our core muscle group and around our waist and our hips. And our buns are nothing but big muscles. The same thing with the large muscles in the front and the back of your upper legs, and the calf muscles. Huge muscles, the biggest ones in the body. So they generate more power. So when you jump and you hesitate, that power ceases at the top of your jump. And then the second part of that is your shoulder power, where you have 20% of your power. Okay, so here's what you can expect. If you're shooting a two-part shot, you're almost always going to be short and flat as you shoot the basket. There's no power there, not enough anyway.
There's people out there teaching these different shooting motion type things, and it's goofy because you want to have an efficient shot that flows from feet to follow through. You don't want to have any sticking points because, like you were saying, those sticking points or stopping points are right where power gets cut. And you don't want that, because as soon as that happens, you will start heaving the ball, because then your delivery system is relied upon to get the ball to the basket because there's no power. And you don't want that, because you want that delivery system to be as tension-free as possible. And if you are trying to wrench the ball up because of that, not a good idea. And I think a lot of people have appropriated this as something that it really isn't. People will call out somebody like Ray Allen and say he has two-motion shot. The thing about Ray Allen is that he is jumping so high that his feet to follow through kind of mechanics are different than other people's. Yeah. He's able to keep the power generation all the way up to the extent of his jump shot, even though it is way up there.
Right.
But you can have somebody like Larry Bird, who has literally a 3-inch vertical on his shot, and he's getting it off basically in a one-motion shot as well. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all these people are doing shots that are efficiently going from feet to follow through. It may not look like it, but that's really what it is.
Right.
Nobody is going to be maybe that's too generalized, but most people are not going to be a consistent, accurate shooter if they are putting sticking points or stopping points in their shooting mechanics.
Right.
Well, it's just impossible.
There's another thought or two here on this too.
Well, let's hear it.
I want to elaborate just a little bit. One of the things when we shoot a basketball and we have a two-part shot is usually the arms is the last part, and that's our weakest part of our body. And what we really want, and when you shoot a shot that you are late on, and that's kind of what we're talking about too, it will feel underpowered before you release it. You'll know as soon as you get into the end of your fingers, uh-oh. However, if you get that one-part shot, you're going to find that the power translates into the stroke, and it's going to feel effortless. And that's the stroke you're looking for, one that is effortless. It'll feel great.
Right. Okay. Let me take this one.
Okay. All right.
Maybe you can add something in the end. But Gabriel Velez is asking or saying, you guys are against dipping the ball, yet most NBA players dip the ball, including great shooters such as Ray Allen, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, etc. So what makes you say it's wrong? Number one, we're not saying it's wrong. We're saying it is not the most efficient. And there's all of these reasonings for it. We went through them earlier. It is not quick. It is slower than using your feet to get into the shot. Your footwork really will eliminate any reason to use the dipping motion because it's all about rhythm. The other problem is that it takes more time. It's going to make your shot slower. The other reason is that it exposes the ball to the defense. You're bringing the ball down through the box. The box is the area in your body that is really the danger zone for when the defense is coming to play against you. That's why you're always taught to keep the ball outside of the box. Dipping the ball brings the ball right down there. Defense can stick their hand right in the middle of that stuff and stop your shot.
All right, let me stop you right there.
Hurry.
If you're watching the Warriors play, see that. Now, hang on. You see Iguodala, how often he knocks the ball out of players' hands because they dip the basketball.
Yeah.
He is just a master at that. And so why would you want to have your ball exposed as you're getting ready to shoot to a guy like him?
And here's the other part.
He really, really puts the dampers on guys who dip the ball.
And here's the other part. You're adding in an element that is not necessary, and that is creating a variable in your shot. You want to have as few variables in your shooting mechanics as you possibly can, because the more variables you have, those are times and periods in your shot that can go wrong, and it makes your shot less repeatable, which makes your shot less accurate.
Right.
You try to eliminate all of those. And here's one of those things that it's the straw man that people throw out when they are trying to get people on board with this whole dipping thing. Is they say, oh, all the great shooters do it. Number one, it doesn't matter if every great shooter does it. Does that mean that it's the best way to do it and the best approach? That's like saying, well, Jimi Hendrix learned to play guitar like this. That must mean that that's how I should learn to play guitar. But, he had to teach himself. He spent thousands and thousands of hours working on it. You can make yourself a good anything, even with bad mechanics on something, if you spend enough time at it. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's like people that look at Reggie Miller and they're like, oh, well, Reggie Miller is a great shooter. Maybe I should shoot like him. You should not shoot like Reggie Miller, because he learned that shot on his own and developed it on his own, and it is not the optimized way to learn to shoot.
Right.
So when we're talking about all of these players here, number one, that is an inaccurate statement saying that they all dip. I will say Ray Allen does, but most of the time these guys are, if they are doing the dipping motion, it is because they are catching the ball at a standstill and they are shooting the ball without any established rhythm. Ray Allen is a classic example of that. He was a classic catch and shooter on a lot of the shots that you see him take, where he is catching the ball from a standstill, has to generate rhythm some way, so that's what he did. And that was also part of his shot, which he probably developed in a vacuum. And if he could have known about dipping and why the reasoning why it's not great, he probably would have gone the other way. Other people like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, we see them shoot all the time. Yeah. And if they are catching with footwork, they're not really dipping the ball ever.
No. If it is, it's just a minor hitch. It's not a dip.
And if they are catching it on a standstill, they probably have to do it. Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing. So we're saying that you should try to eliminate that from your shooting mechanics. And when people come at us, and this is what people that teach this, they're always throwing it out there. All the great shooters do it.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. Or they don't.
Or they don't. And you're watching, because I can go out and I can put together a reel of all these people, and I can make you think something because I picked the right clips to use in that. So don't let people fool you. And, we give you all the reasoning behind it. If you don't buy into that, that's
fine.
No big deal.
We're not hurt, and we're not into a situation where we want to argue about it either.
We're trying to help you get better.
Yeah, and we know what we believe, and that's what we teach.
And if people want to debate us on that, we've laid out everything that you need to know about it. And if you have a problem with that, then your reasoning skills are different than ours. We don't understand. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. When we see stuff like that, it makes us a little irritated because it's almost like a challenge to us when we didn't even ask for it. Okay, let's see here. Daniel is asking, how do you dribble against an aggressive defender without losing the ball or picking up the ball?
Oh, that's a great question. One of the things that you want to do is not pick up the ball until you're sure that you're ready to terminate the dribble. Otherwise, you're really in trouble defensively. All right, so how do you do this? You protect the basketball from the dribbler, and what you want to do is, if I have a dribbler in front of me who is very aggressive and reaching to the basketball, I want to use an arm bar where I've got my forearm out and extended in front of me that will not allow them to get close enough where they can tip it away. The other thing that we want to do is get our body turned sideways and get the ball back so that it's behind our back leg. That's a fine position there to dribble, and you can flat back from there, you can scissor from there. But the point is that you keep them off of you by using that arm bar. And notice that my arm bar, my fist.
Nobody can see it, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get it there where you can see it. Well, you can see here on Casey's, he wants to turn his small knuckle out like this. If we're like this arm will collapse a lot easier. Okay, and so when we turn that little knuckle out, that's a lot better. The worst thing you can do on an arm bar is to allow the hand to just dangle there because the defense will push right through it. Okay, so that's how you hold them off while you're dribbling the basketball.
Yeah, and the other thing, again, is you have to have your skills to a level where you are confident with them. Yeah. You have to have the tools in your toolbox so you know how to do things like dribble attacks, use the hammer, use the diamond, all of these things that are offensive moves and skills that you can develop. So go check out our playlist on all of that stuff. You really need to have everything ready to go when you step on the floor, so that it's not panic mode.
Sure.
Because that's one of the big things is if you are panicked, yeah, you're going to pick up the ball, you're going to boot it out of bounds. You got to really be cool about it.
Well, that's one of the things we do defensively too, is we get into people who have the basketball and not trying to reach or foul or take the ball away from them, but create a sense of uncertainty. Oftentimes they'll throw crazy passes, they'll throw panic passes, and so you want to take and learn how to protect the ball. And not only that, you not only want to learn how to protect the ball, but you want to learn how to escape that pressure as well.
All right, let's lightning round this a little
Okay.
bit. So that's going to be, short answers to these questions.
Oh,
if we
I
can.
never can do that, Casey.
We'll do our best.
All
There's
right.
so many coming in. We don't have enough time to get through all of them. But let's see. Adnan is saying, I found that my mid-range is sometimes two motion, but my threes are always one motion. That's a problem. Your your mechanics should always be the same no matter where you are in the court.
Exactly. And it's all about generating a nice flow of power to the basketball.
Caleb Hill is saying, how can I drive to the lane and not get blocked? I'm 5'10".
Okay.
Go see our video. Finishes at the rim.
Finishes at the rim will give you some answers that will allow you to finish against bigger guys at the basket.
There's 9 finishes there that should help you there. And, number 1 is not freak out. And number 2 is don't double clutch or do any circus shots. There's so many ways that you can get in there. And 5'10" is not short. So you can get in there and you can really do some damage on people.
Absolutely.
Aiden Ryan is asking, how do I get open as a big man shooting mid-range or posting up against zone D? I always get double teamed and turn it over or have it have to pass it up.
Well, that is a problem for guys who play in the middle because they're surrounded by defensive players. And
be active is the biggest one, right? I mean,
what's that?
Be active. If you're a big man and the zone they're double teaming you as a zone.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is we teach our guys who are playing in the middle against the zone defense that they want to catch and immediately dress the basket and look to shoot it, because usually those shots are open. It's when you catch the ball and you stand there trying to figure out what you're going to do that they can close on you. And remember this, is that when you're in the middle and people start dropping into double and triple team you, there are other players at the perimeter who are open. Get the ball to them. And that relieves pressure on you, and then they have to stay out there. And the more that happens, the more they have to honor those guys that are on the perimeter, particularly if they're guys who can shoot it. But the idea is to catch the ball and address the basket. And most of the time, you'll have a shot.
Well, here's the thing. Move without the ball.
Yeah.
You're going to spend most of your time without the ball in your hands. The defense is going to be basically in fixed positions. So poke in between and find the little gaps and holes and stuff that you can pop into. Set back screens so that they can reverse the ball and your teammate can get a wide open shot. Just be active. Don't just stand there. Big guys do that all the time. It's just lazy. They just stand there and they wait for something to happen. Like suddenly the defense they're all going to pass out and it's going to be a wide open lane for you to get the ball or something like that. Never happens. You have to create the opportunity. So the more you're moving around, the harder it is for the defense to stay up with you. And it's going to make their job harder. If you were just standing there, they have to do nothing. And you were basically...
They know where you are all the time.
Yeah, you basically can go take a seat on the bench.
Yeah.
So always be moving. Purposefully moving. Yeah. Adnan is saying, is there any way I can work on my shooting at home without a hoop or court? Yeah, I mean, you can work on developing your mechanics so that everything feels efficient and works out, but you eventually do have to have a hoop. But, you can work on your mechanics. You don't have to have a hoop.
Exactly.
And if you need a hoop, you can always try to figure it out.
Figure it out. Where can I go?
Yeah.
Where can I get one? Yeah.
Let's see. James Wood is asking how to focus on my layup instead of the defender. Focus on the finish is the number one thing.
That is the label that we put on all of that, is the fact that you need to focus on what you're going to do with the basketball to put it in the spot where you're guaranteed it's going to go in. He may block it, but he also may foul you on the block and put you in there for an and one. So Sometimes we try to be too cute and shooting really kind of weird shots because we feel the pressure. The best thing we can do is that when we get in there, shoot those free throws, get some leverage on the player. Now, leverage is something like this. I'm just going to lean on Casey. And when I'm going for that lay-in, you can see me kind of move into him, and then I step away, and that creates space momentarily for me to get that shot off. We call that leverage. I leverage so I can get the shot off.
Well, here's the big thing, too, is that you should keep your body between the defender and the basketball and keep that distance a good distance, because if you're able to do that and they're trying to block your shot and you go up, you invariably get the call for you, because they're going to reach across your body and try to knock that ball away. That's really hard to do, and do it without fouling. without fouling you on the shot.
Sure.
So go up there, focus on making the shot, and in most cases you'll be able to make the shot. They'll foul you, and you'll get some free throws. Okay. If you're going up there and you're panicking, you might as well just stop, hand the defense the ball, and walk to the other side. This one right here?
Yeah.
John Philip Smith says, how can I improve the arc on my shot?
You really want to do that. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons. You can find that in our videos, but here's how you do it. If I'm shooting at the basket, I want to make sure that my arm, my elbow of my shooting arm, finishes at a point higher than my eyes. When I do that, the ball is going to have a nice arc on it as it goes to the basket. And the more arc you get, within reason, the more active or accurate that shot's going to be.
Okay, Dan Dabrowski is asking, hey guys, how do I know what low post move to make when the defender is playing behind me?
Okay, you go to our videos and we show you exactly the ones that we would recommend. And those are on YouTube. And we just think they're really effective. Okay. Jump hook middle, spin baseline, drop step. And so
a lot of it depends on where the defense is playing
Exactly.
So if they're playing directly behind you, there's a response to that. If they're playing high side, there's a response to that. If they're playing low, there's a response to that. If they're fronting you, there's a response to that.
Exactly. And so just go look at those videos that are on Shot Science on YouTube.
Yep.
And they're in a playlist.
Yep. Vigash is asking, I don't know if you heard of stretches for growing taller. How do you feel about this? I think that they're garbage. You can't affect your height by doing any kind of stretches or taking any kind of pills or medicine or anything like that. Your height is almost entirely determined by your genetics.
Right.
So
the DNA tells you how tall you're going to be.
So if people are trying to get you to drink milk because they think that's going to make you taller or take these pills, don't believe them. Your height is something that you cannot affect. As long as you have a healthy diet, you will reach your potential height. That is, that's just the way it is. Height is one of those things people just need to get over. You are what you are. Make do with what you have, and everything else is things that you can work on.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to answer another question here. Let's see. Man, we answered some of these already. I'm trying to find some new ones here. Infamous is asking, make a video on back rim misses. We have. Go check out our how to fix your shot thing. Yeah, we talk about
exactly.
that.
Right.
All right. This is from Giga, who says, how to master the Michael Jordan type of 1-2 dribble pull up. Just practicing it or in a special drill. That's what that. I mean, it's not the Michael Jordan 1-2 pull up. That's really what we're talking about when we're talking about the footwork into your shot, where it's 1-2
and you're up.
Yeah. And you're pounding that last dribble into the ground and going up into your shot. That's really what it is.
Right.
All right. So we have a question for you guys, and that is, again, our question of the day, which is,
where are you guys located in the world?
Yeah, we want to know where you guys are from. So tell us in the chat or in the comments where you guys are from. We want to know, because we're in California here, and we want to know where in the world you guys are from. Vigash is asking, how much is a Shot Science shirt? The Shot Science shirts are $19.99. So go check them out at shotscience.com. And like we said before, if you guys get a shirt, show us pictures or video of you guys playing in the shirts. We're probably going to feature you guys on one of our social media sites.
Belgium, Georgia, Senegal. Wow.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Keep telling us where you guys are from. Other thing is go out, tell your friends and family to join Team Shot Science because that helps us grow in whatever area you are. You are the street team, so help us figure that out. The other thing that we want to know is this question. What is one element of your shooting that is hurting your shot? What is hurting your shot? And what are you going to do to fix it?
Yeah.
So where are you from? What's hurting your shot? And what are you going to do to fix it? Wow. Those are super important questions, and we want you to get ready to work on that right away.
Wow.
Lots of people here. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, from all over Croatia, New
Luke
York.
is from Croatia. Mo is from New York. Alan's from California. Awesome. Oh, Sri Lanka is here again. That's Vigash. Awesome. So keep sending that in. We want you guys to go check out shotscience.com. We have so many cool things going on there. If you want to get shirts, we have this shirt in different colors. We have the Naismith is my homeboy shirt, which is a cool one.
Oh, that's an awesome one, yeah.
We have the jump box and all of the training elements there that we want you guys to check out. And we have the all access membership area where we go into super deep depth on shooting and athletic development. And there's new stuff going in there all the time. So please go check that out. Lithuania, RB Facts.
All right.
So go check that out, shotscience.com. Go check out all of our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and we will see you guys later. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.